All these areas are basically again where people have led disciplined lifestyles. They have been following a kind of very important thing which I'm going to be talking about with reference to studies is the kind of social engagement. So that has come up in a big way, that the social engagement factor has to be very high. And that is a big factor. And nowadays they're saying, I think you might have heard of that, sitting kills. Sitting, sedentary lifestyle, when we're sitting all the time, is very, very dangerous. But so is loneliness. And this is a big, issue now coming up with most of the children, nuclear families. In joint families, it was never a problem. There were so many people in the house. But now with children being away, the elderly are facing a lot of these issues. And that social isolation, it has been proved clinically, can lead to much worse outcomes. So that is now what the focus is on. So we are back here. So we are on this. These are the blue zones. And very interesting island in Greece called Ikaria, apart from Okinawa in Japan. And all of these people, like I said, not just living lives, also living very healthy lives. So let's see what it is. These are some factors I just gathered together when we look at them. The genetic factor. Earlier you would always say, there's history of sudden cardiac death at 40, so that person won't last long. Or if you have a longer, your parents, grandparents live to 95, so you're likely to have longer time. But now what they say is that this genetic code is just about 25 to 30% of your longevity. So they did a very interesting study in Norway that is called the Nordic twin studies. So all these twins, they studied these sets of twins who were prone to lung cancer. However, they found that when you keep the lifestyle factor of smoking, so one twin smoked and the other did not. That is, he was away from the triggering factor, and the one who did not smoke was 5.4 times less likely to develop lung cancer, despite having a strong genetic basis for this. So that is what now the concept is changing. It's not just genes which are at play, it's also your lifestyle. And one very important factor is, often underplayed, is the physical activity, the component. This is a holistic conference, and as you know, yoga, like we said, is a way of life. So people have derived immense benefit from yoga, as well as, imbibing a certain set of physical activity daily. And this is now medically proved. In this study, we talked about the reactive oxygen species which are formed. So, and there is a gene called NRF2 which has been implicated in the pathogenesis of the which was required. So this is a very interesting study. They looked at almost 6.5 lakh subjects and followed them up for almost 10 years, in which they were almost to a very good gain of 7.2 years of life as compared to people who did not move at all and who had a very inflated BMI. So these are small steps which can be done, and they've been proven very, robustly by these studies. This is a similar study which is showing you on the x-axis is the number of hours of activity per week expressed in METs, and the more you exercise per week, that is the number of years of life you're going to be gaining at the end. And a very interesting thing I thought I'll tell you, in NASA, when the astronauts, as you know, are there for months altogether, so they started this program of trying to grow vegetables and fruits in space, because the astronauts, this is one of them, they were growing it, and then finally they grew a zinnia flower there. It was the first time they actually grew a flower in space. So the same thing, it brought them so much mental happiness, and as I'm sure there are many